Monica bought a motorbike for £6,200. It depreciated in value by 3.7% for each of the next 3 years. How much is Monica's motorbike now worth? Give you an answer to two significant figures. Now, depreciate means that the value goes down, so therefore we start off with 100%, and we know that the value decreases by 3.7%. So that means it is now worth a value of 96.3% when I take those two numbers away from one another. Now, if we're working out 96.3%, the multiplier we use is really 96.3 divided by 100, and that is 0.963. Now, to work out how much the motorbike is worth, it is now worth, you take the multiplier, which is 0.963, and you raise that to the power for the number of years, and it was 3 years. So it's to the power of 3, and you multiply that by the value that it started as, which was £6,200. Put all of that into your calculator, and when you put that into your calculator, you get £5,536.95p. But it says answer to two significant figures. So underline the first two numbers, and really now I'm rounding that to the nearest hundred. So to the nearest £100, it is worth £5,500. A juice manufacturer sells its product in 5 millilitre bottles. Each empty bottle weighs 70 grams. To transport the full bottles, they are packaged in pallets of 124 bottles. A supermarket orders 15 pallets of these drinks. The manufacturer's delivery van can take a maximum load of 1 tonne. 1 litre of juice weighs 1 kilogram. Can the supermarket's order be delivered in 1 van load? Justify your answer. Right, a lot of information here. First thing I would do is I would work out how many bottles we've got. So it tells us that there are 124 bottles in a pallet, and the supermarket orders 15 pallets. So the first thing is then the number of bottles. So number of bottles is equal to 124. So that's how many bottles in a pallet, but they want 15 of them, so we're going to multiply that by 15 bottles. So when I do 124 multiplied by 15, I get 1,860 bottles. Now the next thing I've got to do is I've got to think about what the juice weighs and what the empty bottles weigh. So I'm going to do that as two separate calculations. You can combine it and do it as one if you wish. I'm doing it as two separate ones. So the juice, first of all. It tells us that each bottle has got 500 millilitres. Now 500 millilitres is the same as half a litre. So it's got 0.5 litres in a bottle. So we know that we've got 1,860 bottles, so it's 0.5 multiplied by 1,860. And this is going to be the weight of the juice in kilograms. So therefore, when I multiply that out, I end up with 930 kilograms. Now I've transferred from litres to kilograms, but 1 litre weighs 1 kilogram, so that becomes kilograms there. Now the next thing is we've got the empty bottles. So the empty bottles, we've got 1,860 of them. Each bottle weighs 70 grams, so the weight there is 1,860 multiplied by 70. That weight's in grams, so we need to be careful with our units. So I'll multiply that out first of all, and when I multiply that all out, I get 130,200 grams. Now we really want to keep all of these units the same, so I really want to change that back into kilograms. So we divide it by 1,000. So when I divide that by 1,000, I've got 130.2 kilograms. Right, so all that's left for me to do now is to add up those two weights. And when I add those two weights to get the total weight is equal to 930 kilograms, and I want to add on 130.2 kilograms. Now when I add them up, I get a total of 1060.2 kilograms. Now we'll go back to the question. It says, can the supermarket's order be delivered in one van load? Now back, find where it tells us about a van. The manufacturer's delivery van can take a maximum load of 1 tonne. Now that is the same, 1 tonne is the same as 1,000 kilograms. Now we've just worked out that the weight for the juice and the empty bottles is 1060.2 kilograms. So the answer is no. It cannot be delivered in one van. And the reason for that is that 1060.2 kilograms is 60.2 kilograms more than what the van can take. Question 3. James works as an architect and recently went on a 5-day business trip to Switzerland. He took 600 Swiss francs with him to spend. He spent on average 103 Swiss francs on each of the days that he was in Switzerland. On his return home, he changed his remaining Swiss francs back into pounds sterling. The bank would only change the money in multiples of 10, and it gives us the exchange rate. A pound is equal to 1.43 Swiss francs. How much in pounds sterling will James get for his remaining Swiss francs? And it says give your answer to the nearest penny. Right, the first thing we need to do, he was away for 5 days, and in each of those days he spent on average 103 Swiss francs. So we're going to work out how much he actually spent. So he spent 103 and he was there for 5 days. So it's 103 multiplied by 5. And when I work that out, he spent in total 515 Swiss francs. And I'm just going to call them SFs. Okay. Now, it says that he took 600 with him. So the amount left, he must have had 600 of them. And he spent 515. So subtract that to see what's left. And he was left with 85 Swiss francs. Okay, so on his return home, he changed the remaining back into pounds, but the bank would only change in multiples of 10. So therefore, out of the 85 Swiss francs that he had, he would only be able to change back 80. So he's going to change back 80 because that's a multiple of 10. Okay, so he's going to change back 80 Swiss francs. Now it tells us that for every pound is equal to 1.4 Swiss francs. So therefore, the amount of money that he will get back in pounds, so pounds back, is going to be the 80 Swiss francs and divide by the exchange rate. So we're dividing by the 1.43. And when I divide that out, and remember it's in pounds and pence, he gets £55.94. So you're really rounding to 2 decimal places. Question 4a. The Eurostar train leaves London, Great Britain at 9:12 local time and arrives in Paris, France at 12:27 local time. The time in France is 1 hour ahead of the time in Britain. How long did the journey take? Well, he left Great Britain at 9:12 and he arrived in France at 12:27, but that was 1 hour ahead of our time. So our time is 1 hour behind that, which is 11:27. So we want to work out how long it took. So from 9:12 we can go to 11:12. That's 2 hours. So that's 2 hours there. But we don't want 11:12, we want 11:27. So 12 minutes away from 27 minutes takes me to 11:27, and that takes me another 15 minutes. So in total, the journey took 2 hours and 15 minutes. So time taken is both of those added together is 2 hours and 15 minutes. Now this question, there's a lot of reading in this. I'm going to read through it all and then we're going to stop and we're going to think about what's going on. So it says there are 3 types of seats available in the Eurostar train: standard, standard premium and business premium. They're all there. And it says fares for one adult are shown in the table below. So there's all the different fares that we can get, all the different prices and all the different types of tickets. Now there's a few important bits here. The first important bit I'm going to highlight. It says children up to age 12 get 70%, pay 70% of the adult ticket. And for travel insurance, children up to the age of 12 pay 50% of the insurance premium. It also says a £4 fee will be added to all credit card transactions. Mr. and Mrs. Marshall and their 2 children aged 5 and 13. So children up to 12, this child here will get the discounts, that one won't. They travel from London to Paris on the Eurostar train, so they decide to take the standard semi-flexible tickets. So there we are, standard, and there's the semi-flexible tickets. So for an adult price, it's going to be £165. Now, we'll look at other things here. It says that they buy travel insurance, so they've got travel insurance that they want to pay for all 4 of them, and they pay by debit card. Now be careful here, debit card is okay, it's only credit cards that you pay the extra £4 for, so they don't have to pay that extra charge. Now they've got £700 and we want to know if they've got enough money. Right, so there's a lot going on here. Right, now, children up to the age of 12 pay 70%. So the child at 5 will get all the discounts, but the one at 13 is treated as an adult. So really what we're dealing with is we're dealing with 3 adult fares for everything. So for the 3 full tickets, we'll call them, that's for the 2 parents and the child who is 13. So 3 full ticket prices. Right, now we've highlighted that already. We know they're £165. So it's 165 multiplied by 3. So the total cost for 3 of the tickets is going to be 165 multiplied by 3. So 165 multiplied by 3 is £495. But we've got the child at 5. So the child at 5, I'm going to do that calculation just down the side here. So the child at 5 gets a discount. What discount does he get? It says children up to 12 pay 70% of the adult fare. So for the 5-year-old, he's only going to pay 70% of the 165. So 70% of £165. To work that out, we do 0.70 multiplied by 165, and that means that the child's ticket costs £115.50. Right, so to keep ourselves organised, I'm going to do tickets first. So the total ticket prices, so for all our tickets, it's going to be £495. Plus the 5-year-old pays £115.50. So the total value for the tickets, and add all of that up, it comes to £610.50. Now, we have to look at the next part. It says they also buy travel insurance for all 4 people. So travel insurance is £30 per person. But children up to the age of 12 pay 50%, so they get it at half price. So we'll work out the insurance. Okay, so their travel insurance. For the travel insurance, we've got 3 of them paying the £30. That's the 2 adults and the child at 13. So we've got 3 times the £30, which is £90. Now it also tells us that the child at 5 pays 50%. And I'm going to just do this in my head. 50% is half price. So half of £30 is £15. So therefore, plus the child, and that is 50% of 30, which is £15. So in total, the travel insurance is £105. Right, now we've already talked about the pay by debit card. That's not a credit card, so the £4 fee doesn't apply to them. We know that they've only got £700, so we'll see in total how much they've paid. So total, it would be £610.50, and I want to add on the £105 for the travel insurance. When I add all of that up, I get £715.50. Right, we've got a problem because I've only got £700, so therefore have they budgeted enough for this travel cost? No, they are. And how much are they short? Take your £700 away from that, they are short by £15.50. So no, they are short by £15.50. So lots of reading in that question, lots of different wee bits to do, so you've got to go through it carefully. The most important thing is you read it all, you process all the information first before you start. Question 5. The blood pressure chart shows ranges of high, low and healthy blood pressures, and it's all the readings, and there's a wee chart there. Okay, so that's low blood pressure, ideal is in there, pre-high blood pressure, and then high blood pressure is a bit in red. Now, Anna goes and there is her readings. Diastolic, if we look at that there, it's a bit small, but hopefully you can read it. It's sitting at 100, so we've got diastolic. And the reading for that is 100. Don't need to worry about units. And systolic, her reading for that one is 160. And we've got to see where she sits in this. Right, so there's the diastolic across there, systolic's up there. So we'll do diastolic first as 100, so she's right here at the edge of this. Now we've got to go up until it meets systolic at 160. I'm going to put a wee line right across there to show you where that is. So there's 160 systolic, and here we've got 100, which is the diastolic. So therefore, our blood pressure reading is sitting right on there. So therefore, Anna's blood pressure is in the high blood pressure range. So explain what this tells about Anna's. You'd have to write down the 2 readings and you would say Anna has high blood pressure. If you're doing a question like this, make sure you write down the 2 readings first. In a bag of sweets, 3/5 of the sweets are chocolates and 1/4 of the sweets are jellies. The rest of the sweets are mints. What fraction of the sweets are mints? Right, well, we'll need to work out what fraction in total are chocolates and these jellies. So we'll add both of those fractions together. So we've got 3/5 and I want to add on the 1/4. So 5 times 4 gives me a common denominator of 20. What have I multiplied the first fraction by? So 5 getting multiplied by 4 to give us 20. So be fair, multiply the top number by 4, so 3 4s are 12. Bottom number, multiply that one by 5, 5 1s are 5. So that means that the total number of chocolates and jellies as 12 20ths plus 5 of them is 17 20ths. Now there's one whole bag, so therefore the amount of mints is 1 full lot, which is 1. Take away 17 20ths, and 1 is 20 20ths, that's 1 whole. and I want to take away 17 20ths. So therefore I am left with 3 20ths that are mint chocolates, or mint sweets I should say. Right, again there's a lot of reading in this one. So it says Flyjet offer 3 grades of seats on transatlantic flights. Grade A seats are the most expensive, Grade B seats are the middle price ones, and Grade C seats, they're the cheapest. So the cheapest seats are £300. Now it gives us a ratio. It says the ratio of ticket prices is, so A to B to C is 5 to 2 to 1. Now A are these most expensive ones, B are the ones in the middle, and C are the cheapest seats, and it tells us that the cheapest seats are £300. So if we write that underneath them all, so if we have got A to B to C is 5 to 2 to 1, I'm going to write down that ratio first. So there's 5, there's to 2, and there's to 1. And again, that's A, B, and C, but I just want to write them above one another so I can see what I'm doing. Now, the cheapest seats is this lot here at C, and they're £300. Now, what do I do to this 1 to change into a 2? I multiply it by 2. So if I want to work out the price for these seats here, I times it by 2. So it gives me B seats, the middle seats, are £600. If I want to take that 1 and change it into this one, I'm timesing that by 5. So to get to this one, I'm going to times that by 5. And 3 5s are 15, so these seats here are £1,500. So the most expensive seats are 1,500, the middle price seats are £600, and the cheapest seats are 300. Okay, now we've got another part to do, which is part B. So part B, it says the ratio of the number of each type of seat is 1 to 3 to 6. And it says a total of 200 seats in the plane. So we've got to see how many seats each of these groups represent. So the first thing I do is I add these groups up. So there's 6 and 3 is 9 plus 1 is 10. So there's 10 groups of seats. Now, I want to know how many is in a group. There's 200 seats in total. So it's 200 divided by 10, which is going to be 20. So there's 20 groups in each category. So if there's 20 seats in each group, that group gets one lot, which is 20 seats. The middle lot gets 3 lots of 20, which is 60. And the end group gets 6 lots of the 20, 6 twos, and 180 seats. Now we can do a wee check and make sure that turns out to be 200 seats. Right, now that was 120, not 180. Okay, so I've now corrected it. So if we add them together, 120 plus 60 is 180, plus another 20 is the 200 seats. So that means there's 20 of the most expensive ones, there's 60 of the middle priced ones, and there's 120 of the least expensive ones, the cheapest ones. Now we've got to work out how much money was taken in total. So we've got 20 of the most expensive ones, so it's 20 times 1,500. Okay, I'll put the pound sign in there. Then there was 60 of the middle price seats, and they were £600. And then there was 120 of the cheaper seats at £300. So 120 lots of the £300 seats. I'm going to add all of that up and see what that comes out to be. So 2 lots of the 1,500. So 2 15s are 30. And we've got 1, 2, 3 zeros, so it's £30,000 for them. Then 6 lots of 6 sixes are 36. So it's 3, 6, and I have got there's £600 each. 3 zeros after that one. And then the last part is 12 times 3 is 36 again. So it's 3, 6, and there's 1, 2, 3 zeros there. Right, I need to add all of these up. So I'm going to add all of them up. 36 and 36 is 72. 72 plus another 30,000 is 102,000 pounds. So again, lots of information there. You just have to take one wee bit at a time and work it out. Now for this one, it says that medical experts predict that the probability of contracting a winter flu virus is 0.069. A survey of 750 people indicated that 42 of them had contracted the virus. Is this more or less than expected? So we'll work out the probability using these numbers and we'll compare it to what they thought it would be, and then we'll answer the question. So the probability of catching flu, out of that wee group, there was 42 of them, and there was a total of 750 people in total. So when I take those two numbers and divide them out, the probability turns out to be 0.056. Now we've got to compare. So the medical experts, they thought the probability was going to be 0.069, and the survey showed that the probability was 0.056. So is this more or less than expected? Then if we compare the numbers, it was much less. So it was less than expected. And you can see since 0.056 is less than, and what they thought it would be was 0.069. A weight loss group in the community are taking part in a sponsored weight loss. The back-to-back stem and leaf diagram gives a record of the weights before and after a 10-week weight loss program. So all of these numbers here are before they started, and this is the numbers for after. Now there's always got to be a key to tell us what they really mean. So there was 20 people involved in it. That's before and that's after. Now the key down here shows us that 4 with a number at the side means 42. So that would be 70, 71, 73 kilograms, 84, 85, 88, 89, etc. Now going the other way, 10 with a 9 after it means 109 kilograms. So I'm going back the way, so that's 78, 79, 80, 82, 85, 92, 95, 95, 97 and 99. Now we need to see what we've been asked to work out. I'll flick across to the questions. It says, what was the latest of the group member before the weight loss program began? So if we look back, this was before it began. There's the latest person there, and we say that as 78 kilograms. So the latest person was 78 kilograms, and that was before the weight loss program. Now the next one, it says calculate the mean of the whole group before. So what we've got to do is we've got to total all the weights before, and we know that there was 20 of them, so we'll total them all and we'll divide by 20, and that will give me the mean weight. It's just the same as average. Now you're going to do this in your calculator, okay? You're going to add 78, 79, 80, 82, 85, 92, 95, 95, 97, 99, 101, 102, 105, 106, 109, 110, 114, 116, 117, and lastly 123. So when you total all of those numbers up, I've already done that, and it comes out to be 1,985 kilograms, and there was 20 of them. So when I divide that by 20, I get 99.25 kilograms. There's a lot of numbers there to add up, but you just have to do it to get the answer. Now the last part, it says the mean weight after the weight loss program was 93.65, so at least we don't have to work that one out. It says, has the weight loss program been successful? Well, yeah, because they started off at 99.25 kilograms on average and they're down to 93.65 kilograms. So you could say yes, it is successful. So it's successful because, and we'll start off by comparing them before the 10 weeks. The mean weight was 99.25 kilograms, and after it went down to 93.65 kilograms. Now, what you can do is you can take those two numbers away just to see on average what the lowest. So on average, the lowest 5.6 kilograms each. Okay, so that's on average. The component bar chart shows the percentage of the population in each wage bracket for 3 regions in the United Kingdom. So there is the frequency, that's the number of literally the percentages. And there's the light colour is region A, middle colour is region B, and the dark colour is region C. So it says which region had the lowest frequency of those earning between 10,000 and 20. So between 10,000 and 20,000, we're looking at, and I'll highlight it, we're looking at this group here. Okay, so it's all of this lot here. Okay, now it says which region had the lowest frequency of earning. So if we look at the bar, which is the lowest one is the middle one, so therefore it is region B. Okay, so that one is region B. Now the next one, part B, it says which 2 regions had 30% of their population earning from 20,000 to 29,000. So 20 to 29,000 takes us up to that bar, and there is the 2 regions there that are earning 30, right, and that should have said percentage in there. So the 2 regions are region A and region B. Okay, now the last one we have got to say in which region, A, B or C, is the population most well off. Use your graph to justify your answer. Right, so these people are better off because they earn £40,000 or more. So you can clearly see there's a bigger proportion of region B earning £40,000 or more. But also, if you even go to between 30,000 and 40,000, region B has got the highest bar there as well. So therefore, the region that's the most well off is region B. And make 2 comparisons. Just say 20% of the population. So 20% earned between £30,000 and £40,000. And I'm writing it this way because it says it here, okay, income in thousands of pounds. And also region B, I should have put that in there. Region B also, there was, in this wee bit here, there's still 20% earned £40,000 or more. And that's thousands of pounds as well. Now on to the last question. It says, a pie chart shows the different sizes of a new leather jacket range sold by ZZ's store. During the first week of sales, the store sold 1,260 leather jackets. How many of the jackets were large? Right, so we need to look out what fraction were large. So going right the way around that whole circle, we've got 360 degrees. So first of all, we'll work out what these 3 are, and then we'll take it away from 360 and we'll work out how many are large. Okay, so we'll get 80 degrees plus 30 degrees plus 110 degrees. So we're going to add all of those ones up. That turns out to be 220 degrees. So therefore the large has got to be 360 degrees, take away 220 degrees, which is equal to 140 degrees. So out of the whole 360, then we've got 140 degrees that were large. Now we want to work out how many, so the fraction that were large is 140 out of 360. So really what I want to do is to get the number that were large, I'll take the fraction, so the number of large was 140 out of 360, and there were 1,260 jackets sold, so times 1,260 jackets. Right, now to work that out, you can do 140 times 1,260 and then divide by 360. And when you do that, you get a total of 490 jackets. And they were large.